Hello everyone, DAdvisoor here with Johannes, the Managing Director of the Frankencoin Association. I'm back here in Zug. Thank you very much for having me again, sir.
Thanks for coming by again, and thanks for having me on this video series. I mean, it's now a series, right? Second time we're doing it. It makes it a series.
Yeah, officially, actually, we are in series. We had one back in December, just to wrap up 2025, and we discussed some stuff. And actually, as we get close to the middle of 2026, we wanted to do another one and talk about the state of events. How are things at Frankencoin so far? How are you, as the managing director, pleased with the progress that Frankencoin as a protocol is doing in 2026 in the first half? And then we can also get into some what is to expect in the next part of 2026.
So let's call it the half year one update from 2026, and it's been a pretty exciting time. If we look back to December, I think we had many announcement things coming up back then. One of the big topics was Gnosis Pay, right? We had recently launched that. In between, many things really happened, and I want to break it down into probably like 3 different parts, right? On the organizational part, like how is also the association developing. On the growth part, how have we been growing so far, and on the what is next part, what exciting stuff is coming up. And I think on the association side, there's like really 2 really big changes that have come. And one, what we did, we started an advisory board that was announced beginning of 2026, where we have a very high kind of caliber of advisors in our board. So there's René Keller, he's former CIO of large banks, and he's also been on the board of the FINMA, of the Swiss regulator. He's one of our board members, very active, helping us like improve processes, helping also look at the risk side of Frankencoin. Then we have Eric Sarrazin. Eric Sarrazin, I think some of you might have already seen him in a podcast he did with us. He's the former CEO of Bank Sarrazin, of the family, very seasoned banker. He's bringing this banking vibes to us.
Yeah, decades of experience.
Literally decades of experience. Then we have Cedric Walpurger. He's an early crypto investor. He was one of the founders of Definity.
ICP, no?
Yes, of Definity. Exactly, bringing that side of the things. Then we have Philipp Hopf, who is a very famous YouTuber in Germany. I think it's the largest finance YouTuber in German-speaking market. So he's helping us on the media side, also bring Frankencoin into a more, let's say, TradFi or not as crypto native world. Andre is the CEO of Spar, right? This is obviously one of the first integrations we've done last year, and continuing kind of the payment side of things. How we can move Frankencoin forward also as a tool of payment in Switzerland.
By the way, I'd say that for those who aren't familiar with Spar, or maybe they're not from Europe or not familiar with Switzerland, Spar is one of the biggest supermarkets in Switzerland.
I think it's the 3rd largest supermarket chain in Switzerland, or 4th. Yeah, it's one of the biggest supermarket chains, and they are accepting Frankencoin natively. I mean, you can pay in any of the supermarkets basically with your Gnosis Pay card, right? Using Frankencoin, but they accept it natively at 1-to-1. So that's really cool. So that's like one side. But then also in May, or beginning of May, our team grew a bit. We had Paolo join us as a Director of Collateral Management, and this is a really big step for the association, because what Paolo's role is twofold. It's on one hand side, he's very much a risk manager. He's in charge of creating a very encompassing risk framework, which we can use to judge collaterals that are then, for the community. It's information for the community, for the FPS holders that are deciding on which collaterals to accept and at which terms. He's creating a framework on how to quantify this. But he's also very active reaching out to potential RWAs. He's working very closely with RWAs because, and I'll get to that on the growth side of things, Frankencoin has very clearly solved the demand side of things. So we have very constant and constantly growing demand for the CCHF on-chain. It's always very nice to see when OGs, when people who have built things in a decentralized space start using a product, and we have some of the biggest of them, and I can't name all the names, but some of the biggest founders in a space are holding Frankencoin. And if you ask them why, it's often, to diversify away from the dollar, and that is our narrative, which we have. We're here as a store of value, and I think the world is very much playing out in our favor in that sense. I mean, I'm not making a comment if there's the world is in a good place or not, but for the Swiss franc, this situation we see in the Middle East, in Iran, with the US, with Europe, is something that favors the Swiss franc and favors the need for a stable store of value.
Definitely. Another cash position that is not dollar denominated. I think this narrative has a very strong point. Also, I would actually argue that non-USD stablecoins in general, with the Swiss franc being one of the leading of the category, are starting to get a lot more recognition than the last time we were sitting here.
Yes, definitely so. Just yesterday was a research piece published looking at growth in stablecoins, and yes, non-dollar stablecoins are outpacing the growth. And within those non-dollar stablecoins, actually the Frankencoin is with a ruble stablecoin and to use EURC by far the quickest growing and largest alternative. So we're in a really good spot there. Actually, if you look at numbers, I mean the TVL right now is I think at about 80 million USD, which is up I think 150% from when we spoke last time. So it's really like growing on all fronts. This is really, really cool. We also, growth is not only on the quant side, but it's also on the technical side. There's, I think, 5 alternative front ends for Frankencoin have been developed independently by community members. You can find them. We have a list on frankencoin.com/front ends. And every front end has a bit of a different approach, right? There's like different UXs, there's different integrations. I think one front even uses near intents, which allows you to use native Bitcoin to buy Frankencoin and vice versa. Others, have an extended more savings mechanism and so on.
All built by the community, by the way.
All built by the community,
in order to actually have a decentralized way of accessing and interacting with the protocol, and not a one point of access.
Exactly. So the whole idea of Frankencoin is to be decentralized, right? The protocol is decentralized. We as the association, we're just a steward. We don't have any more say than others in this protocol. And this front ends are kind of the missing piece which we had so far, as you don't need the association at all to interact and to use the Frankencoin ecosystem. Now, that said, there's obviously also development going on kind of, from our side. We are making our UX better for the front end, keeping on top of things. And one super exciting thing which also plays into this whole community is that right now there's the FPS 2.0, which is a wrapper on top of FPS, which makes the Frankencoin pool shares, the FPS, more compatible with DeFi. So, for example, you can list it easily on Uniswap. It's going to be integrated in Morpho. It's going to be integrated in CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, and is also going to improve certain governance aspects. For example, that there's going to be a wider range of people who can also veto, so that there's more people, there's even more decentralization in the whole protocol. And this has been built, this has been developed, and is currently in auditing. And if that basically goes through and everything comes out well, it should be live very soon. But you will hear definitely about this once this comes out, because that's a very, very big next step for Frankencoin and the protocol itself. Another big one, and depending when this video comes out, you will already heard about this, is that we are bridging, or we've built a bridge with AllUnity CHF. So AllUnity is another Swiss franc stablecoin that is issued from Germany, is fully regulated. And what this gives you, a very nice bridge from and to fiat. You can then at one-to-one just mint Frankencoin and have all the advantages Frankencoin has. You know, you can get the yield, you can use it in DeFi, you can pay with it. And if you're a borrower, you can use the same bridge to go out. You can use the same bridge to, you know, if you borrow against your asset, to go into fiat Swiss francs very, very quickly. And we're really excited about this bridge as well. So it's another thing which has been built now in the last couple of weeks. And is going to be, you know, is already live and will be also publicly pushed and announced very soon if it's not already been done so. And that's kind of the trajectory we're going on, right? We're building and firing on all fronts. We are on the road. We've been not to that many conferences kind of in this last couple of months, but it's coming. So I was in.
Yeah, your conferences season is picking
exactly. It's just
very
starting
soon.
now. It's just starting now, right? So I'll be actually at a very exciting conference, and maybe depending when that video comes out again, next week in Paris at Proof of Talk, where I will be sharing a stage on a panel on non-dollar stablecoins.
By the way, your first time at Proof of Talk, if I understand
First time
correctly.
Proof of Talk, yes. I got invited as a speaker, and I'm on a panel there with one of the directors at the Bank of England.
Wow.
With the CEO or vice CEO of a big French bank, with the head of macro from State Street, I think it is. So very, very high level people there. And so I'll do that, then I'll go directly off to New York afterwards for Stable Summit that is also becoming very institutional. So there's going to be many big players in that room, followed by ETHConf, where we've also been invited to present on stage. And I'll be talking more, I think, about the FPS there in New York, and then again followed by the BitSo Stablecoin conference, because BitSo is actually
in Mexico.
That's in Mexico City. And that is an interesting one because the stablecoin world in the US is also dominated by remittance payments, and BitSo is the biggest player. This is people living in the US and sending money home to Central America.
This is the meaning of remittances?
Yes. This is the meaning of remittances. Basically, you send money home from where you work. In this case, people living in the US and working and sending money to Mexico, Latin America, or Central America especially. So that is a massive, massive business. And obviously those people, they are on-chain already. So it makes a lot of sense for them to also start saving on-chain. And that's where the Frankencoin can really play a big role in those markets as well. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to what is coming up and what we've also achieved and built this year. And I think what I can say is, hey, we're here because of you, the community, and we are extremely appreciative of the feedback we get of what you are building, how you are carrying the word of the Frankencoin out into the world, and are super excited to keep on building with you guys, and also super excited to work with you, Idan.
Same. I must say that you've even, like in your answer, you've answered most of my other questions already. So all the more to you. It just shows, I think, how busy you are with taking Frankencoin ahead on all fronts, whether it's decentralization vectors for the protocol, and also different integrations, whether it's on the DeFi side of things, and just like you mentioned, with this maturity of DeFi in general and on-chain finance in general, as more and more institutions are showing interest and starting to deposit funds, even when now Paolo and myself were just last week at ETH Milan, representing amongst other Frankencoin. You could have seen that a lot of the interest is institutional interest. People from different banks or traditional finance entities of all kinds are beginning to show up into the space, and the space really feels like it's maturing, I'd say.
And we're here, right? We're here to build the future of finance. And I very much hope that the future of finance is going to be decentralized, and Frankencoin will be playing a very big part in that.
Definitely. And also I think that just like with the CHFAU, AllUnity, there are a lot of synergies between centralized and decentralized projects,
Yeah.
and they like benefit one another in like very interesting ways. Unlike what sometimes people tend to think, that it's necessarily a complete either-or game. Anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
I think we're good. I mean, I'm looking forward to build. We're building hard, and we're super excited to have you, the community, as part of that community, and like how actively you're working also on the protocol, making it better, inventing new ideas, building new things, and having people, telling people about it.
Definitely think that we actually have a very engaged community that really participates, asking a question, curious, and also even now when we're seeing with the decentralized front end, people actually want to build stuff and participate on that aspect. So much respect to you guys as well. You can of course follow us at the Frankencoin ZCHF X, also on our Telegram group, the new ecosystem Telegram channel that pushes updates.
Exactly. Subscribe to the channel. See what is happening. Get like updates without the noise. So you can leave the group muted if you want to, and just participate when you want to participate in the chat, and keep the channel open so you are not missing anything important that is happening in the Frankencoin ecosystem.
Of course, and the Telegram group is always open for everyone's questions. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, Johannes, thank you so much for hosting me here in Zug again. And thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.